What is the worst thing you have found on someone else's phone? When I was a kid way back when, I often borrowed my mom's phone to play some games on it, and would occasionally snoop around. One time he checked her texts and saw that she had gotten a bunch of death threats from what I assume was a former employee in her company, since she worked in her. I asked her about it some days later, and she said not to worry, and that she called our relative, who was a police officer, to help deal with it. I honestly don't know how it was resolved, but my mom didn't seem fazed at all by it. All I remember was being really scared when I first saw those texts. I immediately put the phone away and went to sleep. I was using my ex's laptop for homework when a text came up from an unknown number. Generally, I'd just ignore it, but it was something along the lines of needing to see me ex, so I clicked on it. It opened to months of him texting his ex, and after scrolling through a bit, found that he had gotten her pregnant while we were together. I'd seen enough after that and stopped looking. Lol. Had a client showing me a picture of a haircut they wanted. I was hovering behind him as he was flipping through pictures, and the next on to the haircut ended up being what I assume was him, but his shoal wide open and googly eyes on his cheeks, bent over like the autocop meme. This was the day I learned to never look at the phone until the customer has their picture up and ready. I live by the same rules since he saw a mid-50s client in a diaper and pacifier. Good bloke, but can't look at him the same way. Okay, that's actually hilarious. I was excited to tell the story about how my date handed me his phone to show me a picture, and it was followed by about 10 dick pics of different dicks. He was a rugby player, and apparently he left his phone on the bus. This is what his teammates did to his unattended phone. But after reading all these terrible stories, I am not sure this was the kind of story you were looking for it. Thanks for all the ords and updates. I wasn't expecting this comment to blow up the way it did. Also, maybe he was gay, I don't know. He was a crazy guy, didn't give too many fucks about anything. All I know is that in rugby hardly anything is ever gay. Actually, this was funny and not horrifying like the rest, so thanks. Never leave your phone around your homies. So you're one of those people who starts scrolling after when someone just wanted to show you one picture. I dated a rugby player, and this 100 tracks. I used to work with a chick who took her husband's phone to work by mistake. While showing a bunch of people photos of her kids, she stumbled across a nature folder and clicked it. The folder was full of fake. I watched as the blood drained out of her face and she became visibly pale and then sick. She threw up. I've never seen someone's emotions or skin color change up so quick. It scared the shit out of 'em. I remember hearing her scream cry while talking to the cops. When her husband arrived with her phone, they slapped the cuffs on him and he confessed on the spot. One of my best friends from high school was just recently caught with on his machine and was having relations with a minor. His wife found out and immediately reported it. He has 4 small children and was a Marine. It was absolutely gut-wrenching hearing this, and there are absolutely no words. I'm paralyzed each time I go over the news in my head. My brain just can't register it. Oh my God, that's like literally gut-wrenching. I can't imagine seeing someone's whole life fall apart like that. And the fact that they had children together, yeesh. Fuck, can you imagine? The one person you love and trust above all else, hiding something so vile. I don't doubt that at that moment he was forever a completely different person to her. Photos of my own diary. My ex-boyfriend had taken pictures of every entry from when I was a kid and sent them all to me parents. What? That is fucking bizarre. How did your parents react? I feel like if someone did this to me, my parents would be like, why the fuck are you sending me this? I am at a loss. Oof. Damn oof. Why? Please share the whole story. I found out me wife is dying after I read messages exchanged between her and her sister. I guess she was too afraid to tell me just yet. I waited till she wanted to tell me on her own before I told her that I had seen the messages and had already known. Damn. Hugs to you and your wife. Hope y'all are doing okay. Lost me first wife at 27. Worst mistake I made was avoiding counseling after she was gone. Second worst mistake was getting used to the pending death without actually accepting it and not being ready when it did happen. I realize that probably sounds weird, but she died slowly to her cancer, and we both got in the routine of it and always thought we had one more day to do shit. Suddenly felt like I had wasted so much time and left so much unsaid when at the end she woke up and did know me, our child, or herself. Do not take one day for granted. This is the one that gets him. I'm so sorry. I hope you to enjoy your time together while you still have it. Losing someone wonderful is so incredibly painful, but it also gives you a chance to be grateful that you got to have that wonder in your life. I was trying to help my friend change their phone case and a cockroach fell out. Sounds like a successful debugging session. Out of all the stories, this made me laugh the hardest. That looks like a hilarious prank to do with a paper printed cockroach. An app that allowed a married man to control a vibrator Meek was wearing while around me. Hey, I've seen this one. I found a phone and looked through the photos and found a picture of the guy holding his dick, but it was next to one of those tinny cans of Coke you get on planes. I have no idea why, but I assume he was trying to trick someone into thinking his dick was a regular Coke can size. Pain love. Can I have me phone back now? I was 15. Found messages on me mother's phone about her failed suicide attempts and how she never wanted her kids to know about them. Did speak a word about what I saw, internalized the fear. She successfully took her life less than a year later. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Man, oh man, out of all the replies. This one cuts deep. Sorry for your loss. You done the right thing at the time by not speaking to her that you saw. Multiple messages on various chat apps on X phone. Not just messages to other women but also chatting with teenage girls in explicit and derogatory ways. Also, trying to meet up with a 16-year-old. When confronted, he said he was never going to act on any of it. And it was me fault as the relationship was going downhill and he was sexually frustrated. Oh, and photos of me naked and passed out very early in the relationship. I had just finished having sex with me at the time. Literally, right after finishing she turns over and sends a text then got up to go to the bathroom. The person responded with, "So you finished up with him? When is he leaving?" It was the dude she was cheating on me with. Looking at this optimistically. At least you went first. Did you respond already gone and then disappear without a trace? My've just finished and is going to bed. Pick me up in an hour and I'll walk back. Lost track of the number of times me ex sent that one. My ex-wife's iTunes on her phone was actually me account that I set up for me a pad. She was just too lazy to set up a new account. So I told her if she did that her messages would come through to me a pad. She said she did care until she started cheating on me and I got the texts directly to me a pad. Don't leave is hanging. What happened next? I can't tell if she just had no fucks left to give or if she was dumber than a sack of hammers. Emails of my ex trying to meet woman from Craigslist for sex. My sister found these 2 weeks before their wedding. She was sad, of course, but surprisingly calm and collected. She looked at me a day or two later and said, "I was about to make the biggest mistake of my life." My ex did the same thing. I mean Tinder's own thing, but fucking Craigslist. My ex turned out to be a straight up, no lee, lot lizard. I found her emails, and then got hold of her phone to find out she'd been going to Atlanta and Charlotte to meet up with truckers while I was working night shift. The best part, she had a sleep study done to try and figure out why she was tired all the time. My ex-boyfriend did this, but with men. My dad died about a year and a half ago in a car accident. I went through his phone after he passed, and he had taken pictures of the bay near where he grew up the morning of his accident, and he had a half-written text message to me making plans to see me for Christmas. It's not like those things are shocking or awful in the wake or whatever is, but it's shocking and awful in a way that it's a view into a life cut short. It was 2 days before Christmas, and he was reminiscing about his childhood and planning with his children, and it all just ended in the blink of an eye. It guts me every time I think about it. After my dad died, I had to go on his computer and get all the financial info from my mom. I saw he had downloaded Fortnite onto the desktop recently. He probably wanted to play it with me, but his computer wasn't powerful enough. I cried so hard. Sorry for your loss. That hurt to read. You have my deepest condolences. Sending big hugs. Fuck, dude. This one hit me the hardest. This broke my heart. Sincere condolences and a big hug. But, and I really hope this doesn't come over the wrong way, it is kind of wonderful to think that he did and thought about something so meaningful and wonderful just before he died, and that you were able to see what he was planning to send you about plans for Christmas. I'm sure it doesn't make it any easier, but these were personal, emotional things. My boss telling his second in command all the things he loved doing to her during their affair. Her phone was just on the table and up popped the message. I wish you'd not read it. I wish you'd not read it. Should have taken a picture. You could be third in command with your feet up on a desk. Holy shit. This took off. Here's some follow-up info. I took that info to upper management or her. Told them of the huge problem with morale that we had and how multiple staff told me they knew this was happening. And since she had just been promoted, now the staff thought they could get ahead without fucking the boss. They nodded along, saying this convo was confidential and thanks for bringing this to our attention. Then me boss yelled at me for going over his head, and nothing changed. Guess I was the only one who had an issue with the situation. I found a plethora of nudes of my friends and several other boys and girls at our high school, including me friends, and I never sent him nudes, nor did we have any sexual or romantic interest in this person. I assume the same for the others. There was a group of dudes when I went to high school that had a group chat called Send Nudes. It was literally just agent chat, and they'd send every nude they individually received to it. Super fucked up. My boss was computer illiterate. One day she asks me to help fix something on her cell phone. She did this from time to time. Fix her phone. Fix her kid's phone. Whatever. One day she asks me to change how messages appear. She gives me a phone, and in her messages is a message that says, "Stay the fuck away from me, husband. You were just a whore for him to fuck, and I won't let you hurt our family anymore." Not entirely sure if she sent it or received it. Either way, yikes. Computer illiterate lol. I was helping a tech-challenged friend move everything from an old phone to a new one. His most recent photo was his hard dick against the bong we all shared when we smoked at his place. I no longer use his smoking devices. At least not in the bong. Stay positive. A picture of me sex toy up his butt sent to another girl. So much twists in so little words. This one is sad, but I have to admit I did laugh. Just the way you said it was funny. Maybe the other girl was his contact. The emoji pulled it all together and had me laughing for a solid minute, but I am sorry you had to see that. When I worked at a movie theater, a customer came up to scan his digital ticket. He accidentally swipes the image of the ticket into a really high def pic of a vagina with presumably cum coming out of it. All he could say was a woo. Oh, how did that get there? Ha ha. Porn. On me computer. I'll bless early 2000s pop-up ads. I had the same thing happen to me. I used to work at a beer store and the dude was like him looking for this product and showed me a picture of him masturbating mid ejaculation. I felt like he did it on purpose. Images from a hidden camera in my office. We need a story. An old friend of mine called me frantically requesting to come to his house because he needed a witness. He feared his then wife was about to call cops and accuse him of domestic violence. I could hear her in the background screaming, "Joe, don't believe him." I don't live close, but I was concerned and drove over. They live in a cul-de sac and I could hear the screaming before I got in the door. When I opened the door, he was at the top of the stairs trying to explain she is crazy. She was trying to explain that me friend is a pervert. So, of course, my immediate thought was he must have been caught fucking around. Well, to me shock and disappointment, she managed to yank the phone from him and she immediately started scrolling to pictures. She had to show me to convince me that me buddy I have known for over a decade is a pervert. She showed a dick pic. I was like, gross, but okay. He started yelling that isn't me, which made me even more uncomfortable because now my buddy is admitting to receiving dick pics. No, he had taken the picture and had sent it to his wife's coworker's daughter. She was 12. I had always believed that had I ever confronted a child predator, that I would fuck him up. I did. Instead, I made sure his wife was able to call the cops without him trying to stop her. The end. Whoa. So how did your friend think you could be a witness for him, I wonder? This entire thread is full of accidentally discovered pansexual predators. I don't even want to think about how many just get away with it. A guy used to work with the one that got a visit from his mom and his girlfriend, dude, was married, ended up in jail because he was texting his daughter's friend and sending pics. Messed up. Crazy. My mom's sent me a dick pic also. I was 16 and he was 45. He tried to be secretive about it. I ended up telling me mom and she didn't do anything about it. A few months later his wife sent me a bunch of nudes me mom and him had sent each other. I need to go throw up. My nudes that I did not send to them. Oh, this happened to me friend. We were living with a early 30s dude who rented out rooms. He had a 5-bedroom or something home. At the time, all his renters were young, female, 20-somethings. Gross. She left her phone in the bathroom. We were all in the kitchen drinking. He left his phone downstairs because he was hosting the music. She's changing the song and see her own nude texted to himself from her phone. Unfortunately, nothing ever happened with that, but we are both safe and happy in our own apartments with our respective boyfriends. A family friend asked me to look through her 12-year-old daughter's phone for any questionable content. I found several photos of her covered in bruises, bite marks, and knife cuts. She looked heavily intoxicated in each picture. After talking with her, I discovered her mid-20s brother had been drugging and raping her, with plans to kidnap her and marry her. I reported everything immediately and he has been in jail for almost 3 years now. It has traumatized me deeply. This is the worst one so far. Good on you for reporting it. That is not easy. Edit. Missing words. I am so glad he's in jail. I'm curious as to why she asked you to look through her daughter's phone. Out of context. That seems super fucking weird. Not me, but a bartender friend of mine found a phone unlocked on the bar and could locate its owner, so he punched in his own phone number and found out he was already in the contacts as Creepy J. Did this once, used a friend's phone to call mine so he could locate it. My number was saved under no talkie. When me college girlfriend and I exchanged numbers for our first date, I was already saved in her phone as drunk guy. I was not expecting to laugh this hard at anything in this thread. I used to know a creepy bartender named Jay. He would have definitely found this situation hilarious. For a guy that was a coach of a girls' soccer team and had cams. Not sure if he went to jail or not, but he was reported as he was a federal employee. My now ex-husband sexting a girl in high school. She told me she was 18, trying to meet up with her for sex, and finally, to gain common ground with this teenager, he lied and used our son's birthday as his own since the girl's birthday was in the same month. A friend once handed me a thumb drive to get a document. It had several full frontal nudes of him. He was, and is, a large-built man. Think of a moderately tall Oompa Loompa. Fat hides a lot of your pecker, but there was still a bit of it sticking out. Oompa Loompa Doompity Doo, I've got an uncut pecker for you. Damn, I came here to hear stories of infidelity. But learn some people are fucking monsters. You saw the raisin potato salad too, ho. Not a phone, but he used to work it for a mid-sized corporation. An executive handed me his computer once to fix some issue and had left open a spreadsheet with every employee's payroll way to find out I was the lowest paid person in the company. But good motivation to move on. Had the head of her send out the raise spreadsheet to the wrong email distro right after telling every no money for raises or bonuses. CO got 250 bonus, my boss 100. I was gone a week later. Had people walk out right then as well.